Title: The Night Man Only Knocks Thrice, Never a Fourth Time. I grew up in a town that no longer exists on maps. After the floods of '09, it was deemed uninhabitable, wiped clean like it had never existed. But I remember. We all do. What no one talks about, what we can't talk about, really, is what happened before the flood. The flood wasn't a disaster. It was a cover-up. A mercy. You see, every year around October, right as the leaves began to rot in that damp, sickly way that makes the whole town smell like death, we'd get visits. Not from trick-or-treaters or traveling salesmen, no. We called him the Night Man. You were only warned about him if your family had lived there long enough. Mine had. My grandfather used to say it with his pipe trembling between his teeth, his voice dry as old paper. 3 knocks. That's all he gives you. Ignore the first. Hide from the second. But if you hear the third, run. And never, ever, let him knock again. Of course, I didn't believe any of it until I was 16. That year, I stayed home from school. The kind of sick that makes your skin cold and your thoughts fuzzy. I was alone. My parents were working double shifts at the mill. It was already getting dark outside, and the sky looked like it had been bruised, deep purples and reds bleeding into one another. At exactly 7:03 p.m., I heard it. Knock. Just one, clear knock at the front door. I figured it was the postman or maybe a neighbor. But when I looked through the peephole, no one was there. Just our empty porch, a flickering porch light, and the shadow of something tall at the edge of the lawn. I thought I imagined it. That maybe I was feverish. But then, at 7:06 p.m., came the second knock. 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 Twice. Harder. More deliberate. It wasn't the sound of someone wanting to come in. It was the sound of something letting me know it already knew I was home. I panicked. I ran to my grandfather's old study, the only room with no windows. That's where he used to sit on nights like these, he said. I locked the door behind me and huddled by the dusty bookshelves. My heart pounded so loudly it hurt. At 7:09 p.m., came the third knock. 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 And then silence. Complete and unnatural. The kind of silence that presses against your ears like a scream held just beneath the surface. I didn't sleep. I stayed there all night, counting seconds. At dawn, I cautiously opened the door. Nothing. But on the floor outside the study, 3 long black fingerprints were smeared across the wood. Burned into it, like acid had touched it. That was the first time I realized the Night Man had marked me. I tried to leave town that week, but my car wouldn't start. My phone stopped working. Roads I'd driven all my life ended in dead ends I'd never seen before. Everyone I told looked at me like I was insane, or worse, like they were scared of what I knew. Over the next few weeks, I heard the knocks again. Always at 7:03 p.m. Then 7:06. Then 7:09. No one else in the house heard them. Only me. And each time, I hid. Like my grandfather said. But one night I made a mistake. I checked the peephole after the third knock. He was there. 7 feet tall. Skin like tar. No face, just a mouth, a vertical slit running from forehead to chest, filled with twitching red lights like eyes. I didn't move. I couldn't. He didn't knock again. But he grinned. That was the last time I stayed in that house. I ran. Took nothing. Didn't say goodbye. I drove until I couldn't see trees anymore, just desert and dust. I thought maybe I'd escaped. But then, 2 nights ago, in a motel on the edge of nowhere, I heard it. Knock. 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 I didn't wait for the fourth. Rules to survive the Night Man. 1. Never answer the first knock. Pretend you didn't hear it. He's testing your presence. 2. The second knock means he knows you're home. Get to the safest, windowless room and stay there. 3. If you hear the third knock, do not look. Do not speak. Do not pray. Just survive. 4. If he knocks a 4th time, it's already too late. No one survives that one. 5. Once marked, you're never free. You can only delay him. I'm writing this because I think tonight might be my 4th. If you hear 3 knocks at your door, now you know. I hope you never have to run like I did. And if you do, don't trip. He likes it when they trip. I learned that the hard way. It was in New Mexico, a little town that had more dust than people. I hadn't heard the knocks for weeks. Thought maybe I'd outrun him. But one night, while staying in a cheap roadside motel, I made a mistake. I got comfortable. I let my guard down. I forgot the rules. I let the TV play too loud. I even left the door unlocked, just for a second, while I grabbed a soda from the vending machine outside. The air was thick, stale. A dog barked in the distance and then stopped, mid-howl, like something had reached out and silenced it mid-breath. That's when the first knock came. Knock. Clean, measured, like knuckles on wood. But there was no one at my motel door. Just that same creeping sense of being watched. I shut the door, bolted it, heart racing. Knock. Knock. This time harder. Like it wanted me to know it wasn't the wind. I backed into the bathroom, shut the door, and sat in the tub. I tried to remember the exact phrasing of the rules. The third knock meant danger. The fourth meant death. And then, knock. 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 But this time, it didn't stop. The knocking didn't come just 3 times. It kept going. Like someone pounding with both fists, rhythmically, feverishly. A beat building toward madness. I clutched my phone, but it was black. No signal. No light. Even the motel lights had gone out. I was alone. Except I wasn't. The pounding stopped. And in the silence that followed, I heard it. Breathing. Not my own. Something deeper. Wetter. Like lungs full of rot trying to inhale through thick fluid. I pressed my hands over my ears, squeezed my eyes shut. I remembered what Grandpa used to say. If you ever hear it breathing, it means it's already inside. The bathroom light flickered once and died. And in that brief flash, I saw it. In the mirror. It was behind me. Looming. Not quite solid. Like smoke trying to take shape. That vertical mouth stretched wide, splitting its face like a blooming wound, full of twitching, glowing nerves. And all of them looked like they were staring right into my soul. I ran. I kicked through the door, scrambled out of the room barefoot, down the gravel lot, into the desert. The sky above was pitch black now. No stars. Just a void. My feet bled. I didn't care. I just knew I had to run. And I remembered what I wrote. Don't trip. He likes it when they trip. But the desert wanted me to fall. Loose rocks. Cactus roots. Everything clawed at my legs. And then, something brushed my ankle. I looked down. A hand. Long. Too many fingers. All ending in split, yellowed nails. It was reaching up from the dirt. From below. He wasn't chasing me across the desert. He was already underneath it. I ran until the sun rose and collapsed in the middle of a dusty gas station parking lot. The clerk found me there at 7:03 a.m., the same time the first knock always came. I asked if he'd heard anything in the night. He said no. But he wouldn't stop staring at my ankle. Later, I saw why. Burned into my skin were 3 black fingerprints in a crescent shape. His mark. My countdown. He always gives you 3 knocks. Maybe 3 chances. Or maybe 3 days. It's been 2 days since then. Tonight, I'm going off-grid entirely. No lights. No sounds. I'll be in an abandoned missile silo I found online. Deep, dark, and quiet. I know he'll find me. He always does. But maybe, just maybe, if I stay hidden, he'll lose interest. But if you're reading this, and if you ever hear 3 knocks at your door, spaced exactly 3 minutes apart, don't answer. Don't hide under your bed. Don't check the mirror. And never, ever, turn around if you hear it whisper your name. Because he smiles when you do. I've seen that smile now. Not in photographs. Not in mirrors. But in dreams that don't feel like dreams, moments stitched together by fear and that awful sound of teeth grinding on bone. That's how he enters now. Not through doors or windows, but through cracks in sleep, sliding in when I've let my guard down for even a second. I thought hiding underground would help. Thought maybe being surrounded by concrete and rusted steel in this decommissioned silo would confuse him, block whatever unholy sense he uses to find people. But he's already here. He waits in the shadows. Sometimes I see him just past the light of my flashlight, crouched in corners that shouldn't exist, smiling with that face too long, stretched like a funhouse mirror. That grin isn't just happy, it's expectant. Like a predator watching prey just before the final pounce. He doesn't need to run. He knows panic makes people clumsy. And when they trip, when they trip, he gets to play. Last night I made the mistake of trying to speak to him. I said, "What do you want?" Like some helpless idiot in a horror movie. His answer wasn't in words. It was laughter, thick and wet, echoing through the silo's rusted air vents, sounding like it bubbled up from inside my own lungs. Then came the tapping, just like the knocks, but inside the walls, the pipes, the metal beams. like he was crawling through them with too many limbs, dragging something heavy that screeched and rattled behind him. I thought I could hold out till morning. But in the silo, there is no morning. The darkness here feels infinite. And then the breathing started again. This time not behind me, but underneath me. I looked down, and the floor had cracked. Just slightly. Hairline splits in the concrete, spreading outward like veins. And from those cracks, I saw fingers. Not crawling up. Just resting. Waiting. As if he wanted me to know he could come through at any time. I didn't sleep that night. I barricaded myself in one of the smaller maintenance rooms, sealed the door with chains I found in the storage closet. But at 3:33 a.m., I woke up to a soft scratching sound. Inside the room. No knocks this time. Just a single sound, like nails dragging across skin, slow and deliberate. And then I heard it. "Still awake?" whispered in my voice. That's his favorite game now. He mimics your voice. Your loved ones. That's why one of the new rules is never speak while hiding. Even if you hear someone calling your name in your own voice. Especially if it sounds like it's smiling. I'm not sure how long I've been down here now. I found an old radio, tried to reach someone, anyone, but all I get is static and sometimes the sound of someone humming. A lullaby I don't remember learning, but somehow I know the next note every time. The only thing keeping me sane is writing these rules. Carving them into the walls with a rusted nail. Hoping maybe the next person who finds this place will read them before it's too late. But here's the last thing. The final rule, and it's the hardest one to follow. Don't look up. Because that's where he waits now. Not under the bed. Not behind the door. Not even in your dreams. But directly above you. Clinging to the ceiling like a spider that's forgotten how to crawl. And if you hear the soft drip of saliva landing near your ear, if your skin crawls even though the air is still, if your neck tingles with the sense that something ancient is smiling inches above you. Don't confirm it. Don't react. Don't move. Because he loves it when they look up. And when they finally see his smile. That's when the fun begins.